That makes me so happy to say that. In my part of the world, which is Livermore, California, it's Monday, January 17th. In your part of the world, I don't know. I have to tell you that I've gotten a couple notes from all over the world, and it makes me so happy. It makes me so happy that globally we are able to connect as quilt makers, creators, makers, whatever you want to call it. So I got a lot to cover. The mystery stitch is no longer a mystery to me. The reason it's called a mystery stitch is because I didn't know what I was doing. So now I know what we're doing. It's one of my faves. Speaking of snow, everybody light a candle for Joanne. She has to get to Rochester. I on upstate New York. I told her she could come back here, but she wants to get home, and I understand that. I she is going to be flying from Los Angeles to Detroit to Rochester, and from what I can see on the news, whew, but she didn't call. So Joanne, and I told her, I'll tell you guys a secret. If you're ever stuck in an airport, I can't remember who I learned this from. Like we had to spend the night one time in Houston. It was awful at Bush. Ask where the chapel is, because there's a dark. Well, first of all, when the airport is closed, magic happens. That's when the cleaning thing comes out and blah blah blah. I mean, there's a whole nother city there in the evening. But the chapel, if you go in there, you might be lucky, and there might be pews, and you can lie down. So I told Joanne that little trick. So I just got back from crap napa, craft napa, craft Napa. It was wonderful. It was less than 100 people. Normally it's about 300. A couple of teachers had to cancel. One teacher had COVID and couldn't come, but every single person there was so thrilled to be there. It was a completely different experience, completely wonderful. It was so chill and lovely and exactly what everybody wanted. But also, it was my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Look, I got the same outfit on. I have taken a shower and washed clothes in between. Anyways, this was in Libby Williamson's class, and I was just stitching away. I'll show you what I made. I was just stitching away, and the next thing I know, there she is with cupcakes and all sorts of stuff. That is the only time I was unmasked when I wasn't eating. Okay, I love Libby. I would take any class in the world from Libby Williamson. She's just the best. The other thing, I got a card that I just adore, and it's from my friend in Rochester, also, Lois. And I love it because as the older I get, the more I don't care. But it says, true friends see all of our pieces not as clutter, but as decoration. Isn't that great? A friend embraces all of the curiousness and chaos of our lives. And don't you know that the older you get, and I think a lot of you would agree with this, I just don't care anymore. I just want everybody to be happy and get along and all of that. So I love this card. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but this is a keeper. I'm not quite sure where Lois even got it. Keeper Lois, thank you. I love you too. So what else do I have in queue here? Okay, so what did I do? What did I do? Well, the first day I took a class from Joanne. I can't remember the titles of any of the classes, but we worked with liquid watercolor with Blick, and we created this trifold book that then we're going to go back in and doodle it with ink. Super fun. And then I realized when I made this, it looks like a monster, and I don't like that. So I'm going to have to figure out how to cover up that eyeball of it. But this is going to provide hours and hours and hours of fun and creating. And she had us do things, just all these different manipulations with to get different things happening. Anyway, super fun. We got to experiment with paint that we normally wouldn't experiment with. So I look forward to filling in the blanks on that. Then the next day, It was Embrace the Vase with Libby Williamson. Oh, oh, here we go. And this is my piece. And what was so strange, well, first of all, it was the fabric with the flowers and stuff like that. We painted on top of, so that was a lot of white on white. But I just couldn't believe that in Libby's case, she had lace to throw in there, channeling Cindy Needham. And also, so did Joanne in the next class. But anyways, I'm going to add buttons to this and stitch around. And when it's finished, it's finished. I don't know. I don't care. And then Mary Kay, you know, part of the TQS team was in there too. And if you follow her on Facebook, she has a new puppy. And they've recently moved to Arizona. And Libby made it very clear in the beginning of the class, you don't even have to do a vase, but look at what Mary Kay did with her puppy that she still hasn't named. That puppy's keeping them on their toes. And look how Mary Kay even like painted her lace and all that. And she again is in Arizona, so it's fabulous. All right, then the next day, I took Joanne, and it was to do a landscape out of fabric. This was in the Craft Napa thing online. And so she made this when she was in Costa Rica. And basically, it involves, again, using fiber and paint and stitches and other stuff to tell a story. So I didn't know what to do. And in the class, that was the thing that was in the flyer. In the class, Joanne got more scrunchier. Like for instance, here is a sunset with a lake and reflections, and she's just playing away on that. Well, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do because you had to kind of get a starting spot with what you wanted to stitch. And then for those of you, I'll just do a cliff note of when my mom passed. Adair and I went to deposit her ashes last June, and I'm getting to what I decided to do. And this is where my mom and dad got married at the Clearing in Door County, Wisconsin. It's a folk art school, and that was run by Mr. Jensen. Jens Jensen, and he was a world-renowned landscape architect. Well, when my mom's dad was best friends with Mr. Jensen, and when my mom was a little girl, she saw this painting that Mr. Jensen had done. Okay, so that's important to understand. And so this is actually, oh, I messed up. So what happened was we walked into the gift store and I saw that on the ground and I'm like going, this is the day after we took care of mom's ashes. And there was this painting and I'm like going, it's my mom, that's my parents' painting. That's my parents' painting. And then the lady who did not know my parents said, well, look, and I'm like, that's my parents on their wedding day. So this was, and there's Mr. Jensen to the far right. So all of this was like staggering to me as a beautiful symbol from my mom. And that tree is, those three trees are based on these three trees now. And I've seen other artwork with these three trees, but I knew that this is where I needed to go. This is my inspiration. And I don't even particularly care for it, but it's very, very meaningful for me, as you can see. And so here I'm starting on my abstract piece of that. I was starting to get too literal. And then Joanne said, no, Alex, you have to stop being so literal and start playing with it. So let me show you what I'm doing right now. And this was tough for me, people. Okay, wait, here we go. Oh, I'm on the picture. No wonder we're not getting anywhere. So this is what I'm working on now. And I'm probably going to add a little more lace here, and then, and we painted this lace, and here, and then here. What I want you to note is what's going on here. That was not here last night. No, it was not. sparrow walked across it with her wet feet. And rather than get mad at her, I'm kind of going, well, that's cool. It's like the clouds. So that's what I'm working on with Joanne. And last night I came home and just started doing stitches and playing with it and just having a flippin' ball. So let's see. Oh, another thing that happened that was really, really neato is that Latifa was teaching 3 classes there, I believe. And this was one of her classes that I was like, oh, wow, that is amazing. Well, in that class, there were some young women, probably in their early 20s, that had been scholarshiped in by Pokey because there were, there was room, there was so much room. And there was one young woman who was angsting over her seams weren't matching. Oh, did I say it was the first quilt they've ever made? First flippin' quilt. First quilt. And people were saying, well, maybe this seam isn't quite lined up and this and that. And I went in there, I said, listen to grandma. If you can't stick your finger through a hole on it, let it go. I would be afraid to make that quilt, and I've got some chops. So that made me happy. All in all, it was non-eventful, wonderful, chill. We got to know Pokey's husband better, and I loved it. I did an interview with her that I believe I'm going to air on Friday. So let's take a look at some of the stuff you guys are doing. So this I got from Marietta, and she has been dealing with some health issues, didn't get the kit in time, and made it out of her own fabric. I would say we love Joanne. Oh, Joanne's here. Hey, Joanne, I'm on live right now. Are you at the airport and okay? Okay, I'll call you back. Okay, well, that's good. So Mariette, very, very good with your fabric choices. She also is doing Color My World, and I think she's given it to her 14-year-old granddaughter. And I said, boy, she better understand what she's getting here. And then Kristen sent this, and then she sent me a bunch of close-ups, and they were blown so big I can only show a couple of them. But I want you to. She does it. She's doing these, and then she has very carefully stitched in round little circles where she will be doing her thing, which I think is brilliant. And then look at the beading on that snowflake. Can you imagine a whole snowflake quilt or piece on top of those neutrals? Yeah, this is why I love the sharing so much. And then she's really going to town on this. Now, Kristen, just keep making them, keep filling them in, etc. I couldn't figure out how to shrink this picture, but I mean, holy smoke, right? Okay, then Peggy, here we go. Look at the quilting around the edge. Circles. Why didn't I think of that? You've got to be thrilled out of your mind, Peggy. And look how she's added the buttons for interest. Okay. And then Frances. What to do next is the most difficult part. Frances, what to do next is just pick one area, draw a circle, and just put it in there. And the fact you're overlapping, underlapping, and all that is absolutely fabulous. And then Angela. Completely different color scheme, beautiful, beautiful. And look at the stitches that Angela's using. These are all relatively simple stitches to do. And then Suzanne, I love how you tucked it under the piece seam. Loved it. Now, I want you to take a look at the lower circle and the insides of that circle. And that's what we're going to do today. I love this technique to absolute pieces. I have to get the camera down here and get it focused in, and we shall play, okay? Close your eyes. I'll tell you when it's not seasicky. There we go. All right. So I decided that I was going to do, that's what we're talking about here. Super easy. I'm going to do it right in here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my purple pen and I'm going to draw in lines. And I kind of want them to be correct and not wonky, though you could do it wonky. So I'm going to use the lines, I'm going to lump right here, the lines on the pieced area to help me get this here. And if you have a hoop on this one, I would use it. Come over a little bit, come over a little bit, a little bit. And remember, this pen, it will disappear on its own. So if you pre-mark your whole quilt with this, or your piece, you're going to be really sad tomorrow or in the 2 days. I'm going to come up here, here. You know, because Craft Napa was so small, you really got to have a lot of time with the same people, which was lovely, and get to know them. Danelle, that goes to my retreat, I mean, I know her from retreat, but I really got to know her, and that was super cool. Again, I would use a hoop if you have one. The trauma with this particular stitch is pulling too tight. That's the trauma. So let me get my little lap desk. And I didn't realize this with this lap. Okay, close your eyes again, people. I'll tell you when it's good. There, we're good. Underneath this cover, there's actually sandpaper, so you can use it for marking things. All right, so I didn't even realize that because Kristen made me the cover. Try and go down a little bit more. Okay, I'm decided to do the grid in yellow. And I'm just going to start from one side. This one takes a little bit of time, but to me, you get a pretty good bang for your buck on this. Oh, and in the case of both Libby's class and Joanne's class, we were dealing with some tough fibers. So I was ever so grateful I had my little pad that I can put on my finger to push through. This little guy here. It was fabulous. And I've actually been using it on this too. So note how I'm just going here to there, all the way to the edge. Okay. Oh, and I had a slub right up here, right in here. You can see where my needle is. And I chose to just kind of cut it off. I am not going to worry that this is crooked right now because I'm going to whip it into shape when I do the other thing. Now we're just putting in lines. And I don't worry what the back looks like. Who cares? And then this. Jennifer Sampu and I went out to dinner one night. Otherwise, we pretty much just stayed around the hotel. The hotel was thrilled to have the quilters there. They were thrilled to have an event there. And I will tell you, everybody was uber respectful with their masks, and you had to be vaxxed or, you know, I mean, Pokey really put some tough standards in there. And the classrooms the max was 15 to a class, but some classes only had 6 or 7. So, I mean, you really had a lot of space to stretch out. You know, this is going to look really good with the variegated. John said to me, he goes, I don't have anything for your birthday. And I said, don't worry, I'll take care of it. Of which I did at the art supply store. Spent too much money. Well, no, that's not true. But my granddaughter, the oldest one, when she was 9, had to do a thing on her favorite, her hero, and she picked Frida, and I couldn't believe it. But I found a paint by number, an adult paint by number for her, Frida Cohen. I'm gonna say it wrong, because she. Now look how wonky that is. I'm not gonna worry about it right now, because she chose to not be disarmed by her disabilities as an artist. So I just was so excited when I saw that. But that didn't count for my birthday gift. You can be sure of that. Okay, scissors. Snip. Oh, what would I cut with that? Okay, there's two things you can do now. You can just go in one direction over the crosses, or you can do it twice. You can do an X, or you can do it one way. But this is where you're going to pull this puppy together. Come in one side. I'm going to bring this puppy down here so it's straight. Look how that's straightening it out. Then I'm going to go to the next one. I hear they're doing a wonderful tribute in movie theaters today about Betty White. I hope it goes on Netflix. They were showing some outtakes. Today would have been her 100th birthday. What a ride that woman had for life. What a great attitude. Okay, I'm going to come in here. See how I'm pulling. Oh, I went on the wrong side. So I'm going to slide. Woo! Slide under. Okay. Right there. I'm whipping it into shape. I'll look at questions in a moment. One of the things Pokey said, and it will come out in the Friday interview, she may be changing the time of year for Craft Napa because everybody, January after the holidays is just, I love it because I can't think of a better place I'd rather have my birthday. But we got to make sure it's not during tape. I mean, we have to work taping around it. It's about as simple as that. Okay. One more focus. Thanks, John. This is minute work. Okay. Just all like was it needlepoint? You always go the same way. And even in cross stitch, you do one way first and then the other way. Keep it consistent. Now look at the bang for your buck you get here. Okay. Look at that. It's beautiful. I mean, it's just, I love it. I love everything about it. So let me get this up here. Let me see if you have any questions. I know you shouldn't leave your needle in the silk. I know better than that. Look at what Libby made everybody. Isn't that the sweetest? Wow. Okay, so let's go back to this and see. I just got the idea from a post that Jane Dunnewood had on her Facebook. Okay, sorry. Is it blurry or your eyes? Sorry, you guys. All right, let me go down here. Yes, Joanne, Capricorns do rule. I saw a profile of Capricorns and I thought, man, if that isn't me, I don't know. Well, I'm thinking we're all very, very good here. Wednesday, I'm going to learn a new stitch and teach it to you Wednesday. Friday, I'm going to do pokey. And then next week is the time. I'm going to talk about the features. I will do more stitching on Monday because this thing is like the project that just keeps on giving. And I'm trying to wait till we get back from Hawaii before we start another project. And I will tell you, I'm working on it and I am thrilled. The Neutrals project. I don't really want to show you right now, but it is fantabulous. Start looking for neutral pieces of cloth that have interesting design, different color plays in it. Don't go too dark. And then of course, we'll have a kit too that you can add to it. Neutrals are tough to gather all at the same time. I mean, they just are. Oh, the other thing that was really sweet was a lot of you came up and said, I saw you and Joanne on this Facebook Live. So a lot of people were very, very kind to me and and about what we're doing here. And I just appreciate that so much. Okay, South Africa. There's my Ann. There's Ann from South Africa. Love you, Silk. Love this. Can I get previous videos? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Um, I'm going to ask John to come in here. I think you just go to learn and go into my classrooms. And we've been doing this since the beginning of COVID, different projects, and they are all there and they will live there forever and ever. Amen. So, yay for that. So it's Martin Luther King Day. The kids are out of school, and Lennox has been saving her money. We're going to go to American Girl. Yeah. And then John has William. And William's going to get his Christmas present that we didn't give him because I wanted everything to be even. He's going to lose his mind when he sees what Baba's going to give him. So, okay, everybody, stay warm. And this is the perfect project for you if you're holed up inside with this big old giant snowstorm. Take care. I appreciate you spending your time with me. And I'll see you Wednesday with Mystery Stitch number 2, I guess. So there we go.